talking about some problems on our industry and the challenges.
And we're going to talk about audio because that's something that kind of is overlooked a lot.
Yeah, it's something what it's somehow on the second place.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you go more further, you realize it's the part of the journey when the storytelling and everything.
It really, audio can make or break. You know, you can have medium content, but with good audio, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Think about movies that you've seen. You know, they're building the suspense. The Alien movies, for instance. You know, great music that builds and thumps, and you don't even realize it. But if you were to turn off the audio and watch that scene, it wouldn't be half as scary. So, I mean, it's something that a lot of people, at first at least, take for granted. And then they realize how important it really has.
Yeah, and especially on the VR when it's supposed to be more 3D, more 4D, more 5D, you know, more immersive experience.
Yeah.
So I think at the same time when we go deeper with the, spatial, recording, the same time we need to go to the more, what we see here, it's soaring on the next level, right?
Yeah. This is what you really want to do. This is ambisonic audio. So this is, we talk about video.
Ambisonic is a brand, or ambisonic is the
type of audio that it is. Okay. Ambisonic means basically 6 DOF, 6 degrees of freedom. So you have up, down, in, out, right, left, and everything in between. So if it's up here and I'm talking, it's going to sound in the headset like I'm down underneath. Or again, if you're the opposite, if it's on top or if it's behind. So, a lot of times, especially with 3D VR 180, a lot of guys said, well, why do we need ambisonic? Because there's nothing in the back, right? It's just black. Actually, that really makes a huge difference. When you go to the movies and they do that test at the beginning and they say, here's surround sound, and you hear jet, and it comes in from behind you, but there's no screen behind you. But yet you realize, as it zooms forward, you realize, wow, that audio is coming from the back all the way to the front. That's what you get in the headset. It's just people weren't ready for it. And actually with things like, when the Oculus Go came out and the Rift and Rift S, they weren't quite ready for it. Even the Quest 1, it was kind of, not so much. The Quest 2, it got better. The Quest 3 is very good. The AVP, the Apple Vision Pro, is fantastic. But you have to prepare for this. And this is an expensive rig. I mean, you're talking, I had to wait, not only this pod that attaches, you can also get one that is a standalone. But I wanted this because I wanted to be able to also plug in microphones at the same time and have everything recorded multi-track on one device.
So basically, even like this one, we can put actually here.
You
at the same time, we can plug the microphone.
Yes.
So it's record all the separate audio.
Exactly. You can have up to 8 tracks on this.
It will be even perfect for right now.
Yes.
Because, the people can feel like they're in their room with us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you're going to get basic stereo with what we're doing.
Yeah, I have a Zoom, which is great.
Yeah.
This is already great brand.
Yes, it is.
Zoom per track and everything, I have for like 1/3 of the price. I have something what they wrote do, right? Yeah. So that's done. That's a level, but at the same time, it's a great foundation.
I like the Rode. I had the Rode Wireless Go 2. It's a true transmitter, one receiver. But I will tell you that I had some problems with it. Now, the Rode was very good about taking care of it. Yeah. But I had one of the batteries swell up on me, and it wasn't that old. And they gave me another unit, but I kind of feel like, okay, they gave me a reconditioned unit to replace my pretty new unit. I'm not crazy about that. But, they at least did take care of it. Now, I haven't seen any problems yet with Hollyland, which is my new love. I think you get full chain 32-bit. And one of the things that people don't realize, when it says 32-bit float, it may only be for the transmitter. It may not work the same when you plug in microphones or you use other devices. This gives you 32-bit float all the way through. So you're recording it internally and recording it and sending it to the camera. It's all going to be there. I love these. And they're so nice and small. We use them on the first podcast as kind of a backup, but it's amazing because I'm sitting here listening to it. You've got the headphones on, but I've got a wireless. That's a hell of a lot more comfortable, especially after we're talking for a while. But I think audio is tremendously important, and it needs to be paid attention to more.
So the question is, how much I can fix after, fucked up production, audio, right? Like what I can do on the, Adobe, some programs to at least to fix if it's something broken, or maybe enhance, the quality. What do you think?
Well, Premiere has added some fantastic new, it's not even that new, it's probably about a year old now. Their essential sound setup is just fantastic. You can tell it what type of audio that you're looking for. It will auto tag, so it uses AI to some extent to say, okay, well, I can recognize that these guys this is dialogue, or if they're singing, and it recognizes that it's music, and then you can automatically enhance it, but it's only as good as what you recorded. And that's where we go back to that 32-bit float. 32-bit float means basically that even if I screamed at the top of my lungs right now, it wouldn't clip and sound like shit. Or if I got down super low.
And even not, crash for a while.
Right.
Because mostly it's like, they start adjusting.
It's self-adjusting as it goes.
So, you if you don't have 32-bit, you basically cut for your sound for a while because it's going down.
Well, you
the
could.
membrane, I think, can be fucked up.
Yeah, like with 24, this does 24-bit also. So with 24-bit and even 16-bit before that, you were at the mercy of, that's why you always had an audio guy with a set of cans on who was like constantly twiddling because he had to manually do what this stuff is doing automatically. Okay?
Get it.
So it really helps to make a more glitch-free setup and recording.
Yeah, get it. And at the same time, we have a microphone like the Holy Land of a noise cancellation.
Yep.
We have a great discussion about on our VR Academy group even yesterday, because we talk about the aircon, we talk about the noise for the fan, for the fridge and everything, right? And we have a guy who didn't experience the Holy Land yet, so that's why he didn't trust the external microphone.
Well, he's French. French love to argue.
Yeah, possible. So, but
I know this for a fact. It's okay.
Important because we last time we already test the noise cancellation.
Yes.
And do the fantastic work.
Yes.
But of course, to do it, you really understand how big it's the impact and how can change absolutely the production level, because you can go to the noisy street. Somehow you want to the noise. From the street, for the VR, it's very good. But if you add your voice and if you talk, that's what we said last time, it's very important. So how good is the noise cancellation?
The noise cancellation on the Holyland is the best I've seen. I got to tell you. I mean, we can go to some really, really high-end stuff, but then, you get what you pay for. Holyland is an excellent price. And, this is the Lark Max 2 Ultimate Combo. So this has got the wireless earphones. This can connect hot shoe. It connects via a USB cable, or it can connect via the 3.5 mini. And the noise cancellation, we were just adjusting it before. I was dialing it in, and it's all touchscreen on the device. So I can bring it up like this, and I can go in, and I can do my adjustments, and it's all touchscreen. So you're seeing everything right there. It's so nice. And you want to dial it down, you adjust it. So what we did before was we had the air conditioner going. We turned the noise cancellation to 0, and then I slowly brought it up until the air conditioner disappeared. And now you don't have to sit here and sweat your balls off because you can't keep the air running.
Exactly.
I used to do it in when I was doing stuff on reviews and tutorials. I'd be in my office, I'd get the temperature down to around 16 degrees centigrade, and then I'd turn it off, and by the time I got done, the beads of sweat were starting to form. It just makes it difficult.
Definitely is the big part of the the pre-production, and it's, I can say, is that this kind of, it was Holy Land Max was the kind
Lark Max 2 Ultimate Combo.
So this is already, I think, the powerhouse, and
it is.
It can be the best tool for the VR. We can say like this: the monitor do great work because you can hear to the read time and everything, so you always know what's going on.
And if you want to save a little money, you can get it without the wireless monitors if you don't think that that's something that you need. But I'll tell you the truth: the first time that you use them, you're going to be hooked on them. And what's even funny is when you get done, if you want to, you can go ahead and pair this up to your phone so it can be your headset for listening to music in podcasts like ours.
Yeah, we are live on the. You have a blue light?
We have a blue light.
Hello,
we have
guys.
2 blue lights going.
On the first podcast ever on
with
VR,
a 2 camera.
We did 2 cameras, so be switching. I don't know how fast, but maybe AI can do it also.
Well, I don't know if I trust AI to it yet. It's not quite there. But.
That's the question also about the AI. So the question is, what role do you think AI would play in the future of VR?
I think it's going to grow. It's a great assistant right now. The problem with 3D is that it's very difficult to get AI to make 3D. It's complicated and it doesn't usually come out right.
Right
at this
now,
point.
yes, right on this moment, yeah. So you think?
But I have used it. Like if I don't have a shot that I want for a project I'm working on, now instead of go crazy trying to go through stock photos and having to rent something or try and find something that you can use for fair use, so there's royalty free, you can go ahead and go and create an AI version of it. It takes a little bit longer, but what I found at this point is the quality isn't up to snuff yet. It's the resolution's not there. It's a fun toy right now, and that's where it is.
It will definitely happen
for VR.
So that, it will happen, but not now. The same like about the AI, about the business and everything. Yeah, it's things going on, but in general, we're still on the beginning process. So we just need to see I see the amazing meme, like people say, look, the AI will exchange the human, and they show robots with the phones,
right?
Like sitting with the phones, right? So it's like we need to see how effective we are, and we're not very effective. We can do much better, things.
The funny thing is I think you have to step back for a second and you look back at early. When I started, I was cutting film, literally with a razor, to patch things together. I used to have all these little marks on my thumb and my index finger from doing it. But then all of a sudden digital video came out, but you had these cards that you had to put into your computer. And, it was very narrow width and you're converting from analog to digital. And you had the old red, yellow and white RCA cables that plugged into the back. And, that's how it started. And that was very primitive and it was low resolution. And then it got better and then it got better. And then all of a sudden, I think one of the biggest breakthroughs for digital editing was the GPU and being able to offload some of the computing power, some of the visual graphic power, especially onto the GPU to where it's not everything running off the CPU because it just couldn't handle it all. Now I've got a system that I can edit 16K video. I have to use proxies, absolutely, and even then it's kind of slow going, but I can do it. And that was something that 10 years ago I would have never, wouldn't been thinking about.
What is proxy?
Proxy is when you create a lower resolution identical file. Usually you use ProRes for proxy. ProRes is, a good way to think of ProRes is kind of like a JPEG sequence. It's recording each frame as one image, and then it plays them together, because that's all that digital video is. It's all that any analog video was. It was one frame or, maybe one frame less than every second. It would be, 30 frames per second, 24 frames per second. Hell, when digital video first started out, it was like 8 frames per second. And it was like jitter, judder, you move along. And now, it's crazy how good it is now.
So the proxy allowed us to
proxy
work more smoothly.
Yeah, lets you go ahead, and it looks pretty good on the timeline. It's not going to look absolutely as perfect as the full resolution, but ProRes does a very good job at it. And then it allows your computer to play through the timeline. And then Premiere's built it out to where, as long as that when you create the proxies, There are the full res copies that are saved, and it just uses that information and exchanges, instead of using when you're rendering out, instead of using the proxies, it uses the original file, so you get the full resolution. Yeah, it's a very simplified way of putting it, but
yeah, but it's very important because
it is.
In general, most of the users, they don't have the crazy setup, right? It's quite costly.
Yes.
So when you start your journey and, you still don't monetize what you do.
Yeah.
So it's important to be able to, edit your file, edit your content. And, even if it takes 12, 14, 16 hours,
yeah,
you're still able to do it with a, let's say not high spec.
Yeah, what you want to do is you want to be able to do your edit on the timeline as quickly as possible and in real time. It has to be, otherwise it drives you crazy. I remember back when if you changed the transition, that you had to wait like 3 minutes for it to re-render the whole thing. Now it just does it again. It offloaded a lot of it onto the GPU so that there's 2 separate processors handling the different things that are going on instead of one.
How is VR impacting industries outside the entertainment? Because we're talking most about entertainment. What about, for example, education and healthcare?
Yeah, we're seeing it every day. And I've already done it for education. I did a series of summer classes for 6th and 8th graders in California, getting up at 11 p.m. at night here in Bangkok in order to teach, and getting done at 3 o'clock in the morning. But the kids were fantastic. They had headsets to put on in the classroom. I organized classes that went over all sorts of things. We were able to use VR that was done by National Geographic. They did a wonderful one, for instance, about Mount Everest, but not about climbing the mountain. They talked about all the garbage that's up there and the fight that they're having to try and clean this all up. So it was this beautiful scenery looking all around, and at the same time you're looking at it and there's all this garbage there. So you were able to use this to teach the kids. There was another one where we did with mixed reality, where basically they were able to use their phones, and they brought it up, and they would scan a QR code, and all of a sudden this beating human heart would be in front of them on their phone. And it was a great way to go over things, and they could turn it and look at it. We could take it apart. So it was a great teaching tool, and it's being used all over the world now. India is going crazy. So many of their schools are going with VR, but they need content, and they need qualified content. Healthcare, it's another place. Also for healthcare, we even go to a higher realm. We go where we have tethered headsets because we need really high computing power. And what we're doing is we're teaching surgeons how to do surgery using VR and XR and MR, augmented reality. Yeah. Okay, so it's amazing. It's being used for healthcare, for patients to give them palliative care for end-of-life situations, where instead of having to be so drugged up, they're able to watch a beautiful scene, maybe from something that reminds them of their past, and they're using it for pain management. So there's so many different places. I've done some things where it was a corporate entity, and they wanted to see their factory live streamed in 360. And they were sitting in Chicago with headsets on, and they were able to turn and look around and see everything and we walked around with the 360 camera and toured their factory to show them that everything is working good. A lot of this stuff is built into the agreements for the businesses, that they have to be able to show that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, whatever industry it may be.
Yeah, and it's also real estate, because you can show the house tour, and especially when you're on the other side of the world, you can just see like your place, on the different, condition, different weather. That's also important. And you need to fly anywhere. You save a lot of money, but at the same time you see, very realistic, place.
And if you do, again, there's different levels when it comes to the real estate stuff. I've seen some where it's 6DOF, where basically they put on the headset and they're actually walking around in what's basically CG, a rendering, and they're able to walk over to the kitchen counter and walk over here. And if they don't like something, they can tap on it in real time and change the color of it or change the texture.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Yeah, exactly. So they can absolutely change the the place without the furniture, and they can put things what they want, what they like.
Yeah.
They put something what exists on the market.
Yep.
And they can, see how it looks, because you can spend a lot of money for, for the furniture.
Yep.
But at the same time, you can one button and click and order. You save money, save time, and save stress.
I think there's another area of entertainment that we've not looked at so far, and I think it's something that is going to become a growing factor, and that is the fact that we're seeing a change because of, we used to have broadcast TV, and then we had cable, and now we're into streaming, and it's a whole different model, and they're having trouble getting the revenue to make TV shows popular. And so what we're seeing all over the place, we're seeing popular TV shows that are getting canceled because they can't justify the cost. I think VR is going to open up another avenue where you have pay-per-view, where you have, subscription. I mean, DOVR is already doing subscription, and that's how us as creators are making money, by members joining and getting their subscription, and that money goes back to the creators. Mm-hmm. I think something like this it's maybe, part of the metamorphosis that's happening, within streaming. They need another avenue for getting content to people, so they get more people watching the content and that they're paying for it. Mm-hmm. And that's something, that's another avenue that hasn't really been explored yet.
That's why we are here.
That's right.
And that's the, idea of VR Funky, which, I think a combination of the people who are well educated about the VR, creators who have enough skills and understanding, and also, enough knowledge to go through the problems, because it's a challenge.
Yeah.
We're talking about a completely different universe when you combine the camera like this,
yep,
and with a totally different environment. The same time looks the same, yep, but the rules are different,
Yes.
And even on the beginning, we don't understand, camera on the phone and everything. I mean, on the normal camera, because we think it's camera just come up. No,
yeah,
it takes some years.
Yes.
The same phones takes years.
Yeah.
So we are on the beginning of the VR.
Yes.
Right now, I think it's a big boom. I hear the people who see there's a gap between the amount of the headset,
yeah,
and the same time amount of the creators. But I think is the missing point, because there's no enough people who really understand how to create, how they can,
yes,
create the content. So I think this year, 2025, is the first time when we see, full or in some company like a Calf, like Slam, like Caudullo, connect with the modification. Mm-hmm. And of course the Canon exists, but it's still not affordable for most of the people. So we are able to fill the gap, even for the practicing mode, to learning how everything works.
Right.
We can create thousands of new creators,
Yeah.
together with the company, and it's big call for the Apple, big call for the Meta, Pico, and we have also now, I think, HP making, who else making similar? You mentioned the company, Vivo. Yeah, Vivo.
Which is the largest Chinese phone company.
We have Android, it'll be Huawei jumping in, right? So we have
Huawei is already, they've already got one coming.
So we see the whole companies, and it's, we try to fill the gap together with Al and the other, people already on VR Academy, to make the space, affordable for everyone,
right,
and be able to learn things, connect with the sound, connect with the camera,
yep,
connect with the, even creation. I think that big part is that, being creative on this world, because you can copy someone's YouTube, right? It's
yep,
I want to make like Mr. Beast.
Yep.
But on the VR, even on the DOVR, there's some content, there's still no limits about what you can do.
Right.
You make the video on the sky, right? You make the video underwater, right? And it's still the things what's happened on the VR, even how to make it, for example, because the stability is a big factor, right?
Yeah.
The point of view, it's a big factor of
Yes.
VR. Even setting up this podcast, it's, you can think let's put the center.
Yeah.
It's no, it'll be no VR.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting on the two different points.
Yeah.
There'll be no interaction. People don't know which, to look, because they'll be doing it like this,
Exactly.
Like a tennis, right?
Yeah.
Like a tennis, have to be funny, But at the same time, how we record tennis, for example, people maybe it's, what do you think? If you have a tennis players,
Yeah.
put camera, where you put the camera?
You have to do multiple camera.
Okay.
You really hit it.
Okay.
Tennis is almost the
That'll be the
typical.
a lot of far, like most farther, so be hard for the 3D.
And you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. And tennis is not a great example of a sport that blends well. It actually would blend better, and maybe I'll confuse everybody with this, but in 3D, basically in flat 3D. When we used to, when I was shooting 3D before, when I first got started with all this, it wasn't VR, it wasn't immersive, it wasn't wraparound, it wasn't spherical. It was flat. But we could also use longer lenses. So what you do is you get two lenses, they have to be matched pairs, but you could go we would shoot normally with like a 10 millimeter lens. So it was pretty shallow depth of view. But we could also put an 85 millimeter onto it, pair of 85, so we could zoom in actually. And that's what, for something like tennis or baseball, football, I mean, you've got the flying camera going across. I don't know how that would be with 3D. I've got a friend who is working with his Canon R5C, and he's shooting for NFL football. And the best stuff that he's done, his name is Adam Contrast, and the best stuff that he's done was when they let him do setups. So he was right behind the quarterback. He was over his shoulder. And as the quarterback pulled back, he pulled back. And it's just the most amazing view. It's almost like playing a video game. It's like, but real. So basketball, actually much easier to shoot. I mean, there was a company, Next Video, which was actually bought by Apple.
Yes.
And they were using custom cameras, and they were doing the similar thing. They were doing flat 3D because that enables you to zoom.
We have a platform like VUZ from Dubai, and they also tried combine their, entertainment,
right,
sports, the martial arts and everything into VR.
Right.
I think that's still big factor about the positioning camera. So we need more people on the pro level.
Oh yeah.
But to get to the pro level, we need to have people who are, who just start the journey.
Yes.
Because nobody go to the pro, right away.
Nobody's a professional off the bat.
And many people just stuck because if you talk about the black magic, for example, right?
Yes.
Like you cannot jump in right straight to the black magic.
I'm glad you brought that camera up, because what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing all these posts on online on Facebook mostly, and they're saying, we just got our black magic camera in. Let us know if you want to shoot something. They didn't buy these cameras because they had something to shoot with them. They bought these cameras because they want to rent them out for others to shoot with them. And I'm seeing more of that than anything else. But I mean, you're talking the base price is $30,000, but then with everything else that you need, the specialty recording devices, the drives, everything else that you need, you're at 50 to 100. You're easily hitting towards 100,000 of an investment when you talk about this. So yes, these cameras are getting out there. They shoot 2 8K resolution images, so you're getting just beautiful 16K. It's unbelievable. It's gorgeous. And the Apple Vision Pro can play it. And this is something that really makes people crazy, because they say, oh, so the Apple Vision Pro is 16K, the headset. And no, it's not. It's only 3K. It's actually like 6K. It's 2 3K images. So it's actually about the most that it physically is 6K. But because of how software works and how algorithms work, it can distill it down to show 16K on a 6K, and it's going to look fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And it does look fantastic.
So basically right now we have, Blackmagic, and at the same time we have just 27 titles or Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
27 titles. And we have even right now, there's already couple of the Blackmagic on the market, and still producing for them, because they need to order this one, so they need to finance, right? I think nobody just want to risk produce some high-end content and wait for the Apple to buy, because the only way they need to buy this to put on the platform, right?
That's our biggest hassle, is finding somebody to pay for the content. Apple is screaming, people, or the media is screaming, Apple, there's not enough content. There's not enough content. I heard the same thing every time, going all the way back to 3D. Oh, there's not enough content. Because they're talking about not enough content from top tier blockbuster studios. Yeah. But yet that's not where most of the content needs to come from. You need it coming from mid and even beginners.
Exactly.
Because that's what's going to grow the whole business. And media likes to just put their nose up in the air or put it some other part of their anatomy, and they just ignore it. And they say stupid comments like, oh, there's just not enough content. Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah.
There's plenty of content.
Headset.
Yeah.
And it's the same.
It's an excuse.
Yeah, it's an excuse because, that's, I think, that fill up the gap between the, amount of the creators and the professional creators is the education. It's the really practicing things on every, setup what you have.
Yeah.
Half, great for start. You learn a lot of things. You understand the concept. You make few videos. You understand the game.
Exactly.
Switch to other one.
It's like what we're doing with VR Academy.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got it set up to where they're going to the students are going to have projects that they're going to do along the way. They're going to be graded on them. They're going to be getting feedback on them. They're going to be told, okay, you did this right and you did this wrong, and here's how you can do it better.
Yeah.
And that's priceless, man. That's absolutely priceless.
Ergo, it'll be take my money. Take my money. Take my money. Because it saves the time. You have a feedback from professional. You understand the game, and also you find a way together to monetize the content.
Right.
Because sooner or later, when you start, for example, movie production, you want to get the deal about the producing movie, right?
Right.
But you need to pass school, university, make some, maybe you be practicant, on the some level and everything. It's the same thing VR Academy. Yeah. You can get to Apple Vision Pro content, and Blackmagic.
Yep.
Perfect. But to go to this level,
so you know how to use it.
Exactly. It's not absolutely not make any sense. Someone will go to the Blackmagic. Because it first of all it will. There's no way. Can you tell me how someone would just have no idea coming from 2D going to the Blackmagic?
They would look at it and they would
to the Blackmagic.
They would look at it and they would just go, because their eyes would glaze over it. They look at all the connections and the knobs and the adjustments and all of the rest of it. And you know what though? We say this now, and everybody's nodding their heads probably right along with us. But at the same time, there's a whole bunch of people that are saying, you know what, I can find a free tutorial on get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. If you get it for free.
Yeah.
What is it worth?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some people that can learn that way, but they're very, very few.
Yeah.
What you really need to do, stop thinking that you're going to get it for free. You have to invest. You have to invest your time. You have to invest some money. And again, what we're trying to do with VR Academy is we're trying to keep the prices to where they're reasonable so that people actually can afford to go ahead and take the courses and learn and become. And I'm crazy. I actually want to see people. I want to see people eventually do better than I'm doing. That would please me to no end. That somebody that I taught actually did something better than me, because that means they really absorbed my knowledge and they've taken it to the next level. And hopefully they're feeding that to other people too.
On the market. So if you more people, more content, like you said, there will be more inspiration. Also, the big company understand investment for the creators. Mm-hmm. It's not about investment to the pro people. It's investment to the people who start. It's like you want to have more, Messi and Ronaldo,
Yeah.
You don't looking for the 30 years or 25 years. You go from the 10 years old schools, you build your football field, you build the academy from early age. You cannot start and say you already do VR. It's like, I'll show you Blackmagic now.
Yeah.
No. Start from beginning. It will take time.
Yeah.
But then you have someone from after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, then you can create amazing content.
Yeah.
Not after how long you're on the business, right? And we're still learning, things change, lighting and everything we just adjust. sound, which is,
Yes.
give us right now
It's amazing.
which is,
Yes.
give us right now
It's
the
amazing
other
how
level,
it
right?
changes.
Translation out and everything. You cannot say nothing.
Yeah.
You cannot make, discussion on the crowd.
Yeah.
So the technology, not only camera change.
Yes.
So we're in the position right now when we actually can, create more content, and sooner or later we can open, I can say the big company need to understand the investment must be on the every level.
Yeah.
The people who start who wanna just shoot content on the school, who wanna shoot content on the fishing, right?
Right.
Simple things. People with the passion who wanna record what they do and do it on the VR, because we'll go this way. There's no escape.
Yeah.
You see the top company going there,
Yeah.
and they cannot make wrong mistake. They create the market.
Yeah.
They're not guessing. They create the market.
Yep.
So if they put in $1 billion, like Meta, Apple, Samsung, Huawei, Vivo, Pico, right, TikTok, like, do you think they're wrong? Like some
Yeah.
company jump
Yeah.
in 5 years and
It's
say,
more
hey, I have a no VR, I have a PR. You don't
Yeah,
know
right.
about this. Like,
Well, not only that, but you also
it's like,
Well, not only that, but you've got the AR display glasses, which people are saying, oh, that's going to replace VR headsets, and I'm like, no, you don't get it. It's just going to be another part of the ecosystem. Okay, it's part of the infrastructure. You're going to have things that you watch on your AR glasses, and then their VR headset, and it all depends on what you're doing. So it's like realize that this is just growth. It's not meant to replace.
yeah.
And not enough people realize that.
We have the Meta, also the Ray-Ban, everything. That's why they collaborate with the Ray-Ban,
Yep.
with the other brands, because it's make more cool, right?
Yes.
So we have a Ray-Ban and the other company.
Well, you got Ray-Ban and Oakley, but it's all
Yeah.
from the same company.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
they have there's one company that has the rights to all of it.
Yes, the old.
Yeah, I forget who it is that has that.
I know, it doesn't like
Yeah,
20,
anyway.
30. All the glasses have this
Yeah,
one, yeah.
yeah.
So it's more about
But those are non-display glasses. Those are non-display glasses. They got a camera, but you're not seeing anything on your glasses. And then you jump to the X-Real and the Virture, and there's a few other new ones that just came out as well. And those are display glasses. So those, you would have it. I would have it on, and I'd be looking at you, and maybe you'd be speaking another language. Which,
Yeah.
you know what? Sometimes I do think you're speaking another language, but it's really English. It's very.
I will just focus on that. But yeah, we speak other. I mean,
No, but I mean, it'll translate. What
It's
you'll do
trust.
is you'll see the translation
But
coming
even
across.
this one, I hear like the way, for example, they're using XR. It's, for example, connect people. Like if I see like the themes, right?
Yes.
Like what's your motivation? What you're looking for? What's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
industry?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
If I put this and you open like your data about this one, they see you do it also VR.
Yes.
Hey, I just see on the yeah.
But a
yeah.
lot of people feel like that's nefarious. Like your glasses, like all of a sudden,
Yeah, like
wait, here's Mario's bio sitting up here. It's
yeah,
like,
but you can open like if you want to go networking, it will be useful. Like
Right.
it's good single, right? It's helpy, right? So it's all about how you use it. I mean, it's happening right now because we put.
so
on the
you'd use it
Facebook.
to stalk women? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm used to connect with the people, and I think is that on XR it's very important.
Yeah, it is.
Go to some meeting and everything. You don't waste your time. You go
Yeah.
straight to the point, and you attract to similar people. When especially right now, it's like you can go to your phone on the XR. It's like in my street I can find investors. In my street I can find investors basically.
Honestly, I would love to be able to go around Bangkok and listen to people speak Thai and be able to see it translated right on the screen in front of me.
Yeah.
Because to be quite honest, I can understand more than I can speak, but at the same time, I get lost in conversations because Thai people will speak very fast and the language is pretty damn complex. And once you get lost in the conversation, it's really difficult. That's where something like display glasses, AR glasses, would be fantastic. I mean, Samsung now is saying it does it live translate, but it's still like it's done audio, and it's lagging a little bit, and then you're having to look at your phone, and it's like it's kind of conspicuous. With the glasses, it would be something that would be very inconspicuous, and people wouldn't even necessarily realize it was going on. But you do just have to be able to speed read. Yes.
What's the common mistakes what people do when they start journey with the VR creation? the biggest, like first program or mistake?
I guess it depends upon, there's a few of them. First of all, with 360 cameras, the biggest mistake I see is people not realizing that 360 cameras are not point and shoot. You can't just put it down and not think about anything and press the record button. You have 360, the small cameras are 2 lens, one on either side. So it's kind of like this. And so you got a lens on this side and a lens on this side. If I'm turned this way and this lens isn't getting any light, but that lens is getting all the light, then you're going to wind up with like this line. Yeah. Because it can't blend it together when it's that extreme. But yet if you turn the camera this way and you evened the light on both sides, you get a beautiful image. So understanding that it's not point and shoot. Understanding that with a 3D VR 180 camera, that A, it needs to be level because it doesn't work when it's not level. B, it needs to be steady. And most people, they say, oh, I'm really steady with my hand. I can hold that. The truth of the matter is that everybody, and the longer you're holding it, the more it does it, okay? Right, yeah. Our heads are one of the best ever invented gimbals. Or actually, maybe it's more our eyes and our brain. Because as we walk, we actually walk kind of like this, okay? And if you try to do the camera that way, you're going to make people very sick. But our brain, as we're walking versus a camera, our brain makes that all look level. We don't think that we're walking like this, okay? So that's one of the other things, is making sure that the camera is level and that the camera is steady. And you either shoot with 3D, you either need to shoot with a tripod, or you need to shoot with a gimbal. You really can't get away with handheld for more than a second or two and without it starting to mess up. Now, yeah, we have stabilization on these cameras. They're absolutely fantastic. It's great stabilization, but it's not 100%. It can't be, okay? And so learning those and learning with 3D, about, not putting people all the way on one side, that they really need to be in the middle. Those are some of the most common.
What about engagement, with the camera? Like, for example, we are here right now. Yeah. The camera is rolling. Yep. We focus on each other. Yeah. How, the viewers see this and feel right now?
Well, I mean, when you're doing an interview, it is one style of doing an interview where you basically look straight into the lens and you're talking to the camera. But it's not what most people consider natural. And so if I was looking in between the 2D camera and the 3D camera, I'm looking this way, this is probably one of the better ways for me to go, because then my face is getting in both images. But we're sitting across from each other, so that still works. It works good. And what we did was we talked about this earlier, about when we started the idea of doing it. I put it on this bar to where they can be hopefully equidistant, so that as the edit is done and it cuts from me talking to you talking, the depth needs to be the same. It's called, when you don't have the same depth, for instance, if you were all the way back against the wall and I was here, when it jumped over between us, some people could feel motion sickness almost.
Yes, you need to adjust at least a half of the second.
Well, what it's called is called a depth jump. Depth jump, okay. So you don't want a depth jump. You want to, even though we're two different people, if we're the same distance, then the 3D is the same. Okay. So even as we switch back and forth, it's still going to look smooth.
Wait. Then the light is also important at the same time, course. Because we are quite similar on the light.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah. That helps. I mean, we're, it's on my side, on this side, and it's the opposite side, but that's normal. This is what you expect to see. Whereas if the light was extremely different, or if it was too hot, then it wouldn't look good.
I can say also about the community.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've loved getting onto the school platform and putting comments up and putting questions up and getting feedback from everybody. The community has stayed very engaged, which is what we need.
Later we give some, maybe extra prices and everything.
Yeah.
Because I think it's people want to see their work also get some benefits,
Yes.
right? The same time, I understand, you love VR and, but at the same time, we also, want to see the people get the benefits. For example, like they know if their work gets some traction, get some nice comment, get some good words, but at the same time, the monetization.
Yep.
So the VR school, the VR Academy, So VR Academy on the school is the place when people actually can see the progress. Like you said, we want to create, we're on the way, that's why we do this one, on the way to create the things when people see the progress based on the things what they know, what they learn, and they practice. Like
right.
We have one of your students actually here who have a, samples, need to make samples.
Right.
Then he also, have the feedback from you.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, like you don't make the mistakes and you continue 5-10 videos, which happened on the our team as well.
Yep.
And on other people who are on the VR Academy, which they make 30 videos. And the videos, they do not have the story.
Right.
So people thinking like, okay, I just make more videos.
Right.
And maybe, different model, different person, different place. It's already everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. The problem is that you're not improving the part of the, the storytelling, the lightning, which has happened also.
Yep.
And that's, I think, is the big part of the, getting better.
And this, that's one of the things. There's the technical knowledge. There's the technical knowledge of how to set up the camera, making sure that you're getting the lighting good, making sure that you're getting good audio. But then all of that is for nothing if you can't tell a good story. It's the bottom line.
And you know what I see the best things of the VR Academy? I think the feedback from the real people who are actually watching this one,
yes,
who understand the game, and you have a real feedback.
Yeah.
Because I see this many times. If you have show to your friends, show to the people around, there's no real feedback.
No.
Because they don't have experience with this.
Not only that, they don't want to say something bad to you.
Yeah, exactly. And they always say like, oh, it's nice because
it's
of the
beautiful.
VR. Yes. So whatever you play them, right?
Yeah.
You can play the worst shitty video on the VR. They said, wow, it's nice. I like it,
It's very funny that you mentioned that because earlier today we were looking downstairs. We were looking at the Quest. We're looking downstairs. We were looking at the Quest headset and we were looking at something that we had shot. And I wasn't satisfied with it. And I said, I'm going to redo it. And I put the headset on them and I said, now look at this one. This one looks great. But then I said, okay, let me click. I changed it to the next one. I say, see, look at this, this, and this. And I'm critiquing my own self. Yeah. I'm a lot of times I'm my harshest critic. I want it to be absolutely perfect. But you've got to be able to get that honest feedback. I'm not afraid to say it. And I'm my own worst critic.
Yeah.
I just
but at the same time we need to have the people who are honest.
Yes.
Who who don't afraid to say how they really see it. Because the biggest problem also about this monetization, because you cannot judge your movie based off how much money it earned. The same time about how much people, watched it, right?
Yeah.
Because you can be really confused. Like you said, oh, my video was there and I get the price and everything. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you get the price because someone financed this one. You get the man from startup and it's 27 video on the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
So of course, and someone watch and it's like, oh yeah, because, they pay this, they don't have choice. So they need to take the video because they don't pay for anything else. I don't believe they have 100 videos. No, they pay for 27.
Yeah.
They get 27.
Yeah.
And it's like, and who can judge? Company can judge.
Yeah.
The people who make headset can judge. Because you need to understand different. The Apple Vision Pro, the company, they are not producer for the video there.
But actually with Apple is very unusual. Apple is very unusual. Apple, you do have a coordinated effort between the hardware and they have their own different.
Okay.
And that seems to be the trend.
So you think that, but they still order video for the,
yes, they do third party. Like for instance, Meta just contracted with James Cameron. Yeah. Okay. but they like to, and this actually brings up something that is kind of close to the vest on me, close to my heart. And that is, back in 2019, I was one of the first to be invited by Oculus at the time, when it was less confusing, to go ahead and open up a channel. And, even just the simple thing of signing up, they had to hand do for me because they just weren't ready for it. And I put up probably around 50 titles onto Oculus. And at times they were paying me for some of them and letting me keep them on my site. I got to work with Sir David Attenborough on the separate stuff for Micro Monsters and Kingdom of Plants. And then all of a sudden they just recently announced that there are no more user-generated content and all of our stuff is going away. And so I went through my 20 or so pages of content that I have in the library there still yet, and I added up my views. And I can tell you that I'm very happy to say that I had over 5 million views on my videos. But what's sad about that is that at the beginning, the view count was much, much higher. And then towards the last, year, it's been falling off because they transitioned from Oculus to Meta, and they really just didn't know what to do with it. They were promoting our stuff before, and the creators were enthusiastic. Everybody wanted to put something else. They wanted to have that badge of honor to be able to have a channel because not everybody was accepted. It was like this was the cream of the crop. And Meta at the time, or Oculus at the time actually, was promoting everything. And we would have these competitions. How many do you have that are, being in the positions of honor, so to speak? And that was a thing for the creators. We got out there and we did harder, pushed harder to make something better so that we'd get recognition. Because let's face it, that's why we do this stuff. And it's sad that now that they've let it go and, left it alone, and they don't realize that's the heart and soul of the platform. It's not your games. It's not these stupid Horizon World with these blocky looking, no leg avatars that just, I can't get into them. But it's all, to me, they're forsaking video, and they're just going to go with, the high-end production companies, which are going to do a fantastic job. I mean, there's not a doubt there. But I think they're missing out on getting the creators involved and growing their audience that way. Because you know what? When I say to you, hey, Mario, go on the Oculus and you can take a look at, Sir David Attenborough's 5-part series, Micro Monsters. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, maybe I want to buy a headset because my buddy Al was working on this and it almost won an Emmy. And, wow, this must be really good. And they're not realizing that creators create more users.
Yeah. And I think we can jump into the point where we are actually the creative platform for the creators and from the users, because the creators can attract other people, especially the ones who have a passion to do something great and have the audience. That's what we're trying to reach with our new project, our startup, the VR Funky. What it's most, I can say, challenge is to bring people together, connect with the other startups, because we have people like, DVR, company like DOVR.
Right.
We still have a YouTube, of course. We have a Meta, Apple Vision Pro, and other companies like the Rival.tech, POZ, and Atrium, for example.
I got to say, Jill VR is actually starting to get some play, which is an offshoot. It's kind of like the adult version or the mature. You say adult version, everybody's mind go into the gutter. Yeah. But basically, it's like more performance art, and it's a little bit edgier stuff. It's more mature content. And now that's fine.
But the same, but it's going also the direction for the adult industry, which is also content creation. Right. we know that Hollywood and the adult business is all from the same side or the different content, but technological are the same. They are most advanced, right? They put a lot of money on this industry. It's never disappear. It work all the time.
Yes.
So I can understand with the people who've been learning about the VR, right? They can go whatever direction they want, right? We can still say like, no, don't shoot video with the girls, right?
Right.
So we need to understand that we want to show the VR, and whatever someone use this, it's up to them, right?
Yes.
So we are quite open for this one. And but what I need more, it's about the connection with the people.
Yeah.
Because I believe even our startup, what we make, the VR Funky, which is connection between the creators and the users and the fans of the creators of the content. For example, they can order the content what they want. They can order birthday wishes from some celebrity, and that's on the VR, right?
Right.
They can absolutely order some clip from the China from the Great Wall, right? And then we can support each other, because I believe if someone value someone content, they won't support the creators, especially on the time when we see like DOVR, it's still, like I say, it's like we need more creators who can monetize the content and know the better way. But to do it this one, people need to work together.
Yes.
And I wish, I really call out, everyone, also investors of these companies, investor of the setup, headset and the camera, especially, plenty new startups who jump in now, wanna put some, money on this future business. It's a future. There's no question.
Yeah.
We'll be not living on the few years on the, virtual reality somehow. I don't say we'll be spending most of the time, no. But spending 30 minutes on the things that you love, like the watching, your phone and everything, and you get some inspiration and watch beautiful stuff, not traveling to the place, but actually even see the, things connect there, reality, beautiful places, and the people who are there, who are like teaching and everything, is the place to be, and there will be the future. So I want to really call out, and I think it's the big portion, because we can grow together. The creators need more support. The company need more creators, and I see the people start even selling headset because there is no content there. And the people say, oh, we don't have enough headset. No, because there's not enough content.
Right.
So this is the gap when we need to really work together. There's no competitors. Like DOVR can absolutely work with the Rival, work with the VR Academy, work with the Apple Vision Pro, because if you get someone who produce the VR video and he jump into the Apple Vision Pro, he get the same skills.
Yes.
You don't need to produce only for this one.
Right.
Even the movie producer, they produce not 100% time for the main production. They do it plenty other things. They're spending time for the do it like third part, like some editing things or some movie what is give them $100, right?
Yep.
That's big, I think, not understanding. We don't need to go that high. We can produce something what we love, because you'll be doing this one if it's earn money for you or not, right? We love this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I probably would. I'm one of the lucky ones that's been able to. I'm one of the lucky ones that's been able to make money with this and have a living.
But right of there's no right monetization.
Yes.
And to work on this one, to have more headset. I mean the setup. We need to have the more platforms work together. And because everyone just try to grab money from investors, and they fill up the pocket because they and
it's
money.
That's short term.
It's short term. In general, the startup, and it's general. But if we see this potential, actually fill the gap and then create more creators, educate the creators. The same time, help other platforms, because if we create more creators, there'll be more people in VR.
Agreed. Absolutely.
If we create more creators, people will have actually the platform that they can sell, like on content. Sooner or later, there'll be more people create content for Apple Vision Pro.
Right.
And absolutely, on the easy way, it will be more people clients for the Meta headset, for the Apple Vision Pro, for the Pico and everything. So it will be snowball. You have more content, you have more headset, and people are like, oh yeah, I want to watch Gordon Ramsay cooking, right?
Yeah.
And why you buy this? Because he cooking there. I love cooking. I love MasterChef.
Yeah.
I want to see this sitting on the front and then see what they put on the plate. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, I've done cooking stuff before, and it's like people look at it and they're like, man, I'm hungry all of a sudden after I watch that, because it looks so
clean and so realistic. And it's like, wow, you see the masterpiece, how they cut and everything.
Yep.
You cannot see on the TV this.
No.
Because you cannot
it's a totally different experience.
Totally. Because they on the TV, they mostly show the emotions.
Yeah.
They don't show the product.
Yeah.
On the VR, you choose what you look.
Yes.
And you can zoom yourself really to the carrot and see like, fuck, this carrot is amazing, man.
You have a thing about carrots. I don't know. Are you part rabbit? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I got turtle yesterday.
Okay.
I found the turtle on my plate.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And we gave him carrots, so we have to.
Oh, yeah, I saw the picture of the turtle.
Right, yeah.
He looks like, but he's big.
No, like this.
Oh, yeah, okay. As a kid, I used to have the little turtles like that. That's almost
Small like this.
Yeah,
Grow.
yeah.
And I have big one on my pot, on my small lake in my farm. So
the guy that does the snake, that does the snakes, that does the king cobras. He has one of these Galapagos turtles and the big monsters. You could sit on them and ride them.
100 years plus.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
They can leave.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
They can leave a lot.
But they're pretty fast.
They're
Anyway,
super
here.
fast. The mine is
really.
I can really you cannot expect with the head and everything. It's crazy. And when they bite and everything, it's crazy. And when they bite,
Man, they bite.
they can bite.
Yeah,
They
you don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we just want to share our knowledge, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's what we need. And I think that the community is a big factor. Like, I really enjoyed the community on there. There's DOVR.
Yes.
There's a QCAM, which is great because we talk about special things.
Yep.
We still need to diversify the knowledge about the editing, right? Because it's a kind of very deep things.
Yes.
You can be better on this one. The basic things okay, but we know that tools like Topaz. And if you don't it can really improve.
Yeah,
right?
you can. But
Can really improve.
Yeah,
right?
you can. But the bottom line about certain things is it's about levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understanding.
It's kind of like saying, it's kind of like saying, if somebody gives you a Lamborghini, does that mean you can drive in the F1 race?
Yeah.
It's like, no, because you have to build up the skills. And it's like, yes, you can use Topaz, but if you use it wrong, it makes your stuff look like dog meat. Looks really bad. And I see it all the time, people putting up posts and saying, oh, I don't know, how do I do this? And it's like, guy, first of all, you got to understand that it depends on what the video is. I don't use the same settings twice unless it's like the same scene and the same setup. Then I can repeat it. But most times I have to look at each individual video and adjust the settings. You have to be intelligent. You have to be more intelligent than the AI.
Yeah.
Because the AI can only go so far.
The auto setting, the auto setting, it's always in general to set up things, it's a function what must to be because it's time to start, right?
Yes.
But once you go deeper and see the difference.
Yeah, it's the same thing with editing. There are certain things you do in editing that, it's like it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And all of a sudden you learn it and you're increasing your skills.
Yeah.
And that's, we have, beginner courses, we have intermediate, we have advanced. So, we can take you all the way through that knowledge base and make sure that you're improving your skills and adding to your skill sets as you go forward. But you have to start at the beginning. You can't start in a high-end class because you won't.
You can stop you to the next level,
Yeah.
Like I try to also sometimes stop you, say, hey, what's this proxy? Hey, what is all about, right? Because people watch and you understand, like a school, yes, and they have no idea, and they don't go back. We don't want this. That's why even VR Academy is designed for the people who are already on any level.
Yes.
Because we have already our your students. We already have the people who pass the basic journey. They produce the content, they monetize the content, they earn money.
Yes.
So they understand the journey, and they're the one also on the VR Academy to teach other people to also give the advice because they're on the beginning level, but they already achieved some great success.
Yeah. But that's also
It's success.
Yeah. But that's a dual-edged sword as well. That's one of the things that you have to watch out for, because when people do one way and all of a sudden they make some money with it, they think, okay, I don't want to learn anything more. I just want to keep doing it this way. Mm-hmm. And they've got to realize that sometimes, even if you're making money, you should still try to improve what you're doing.
Earning money on this business, in general on the business, it's not the results and it's not the great feedback,
Yeah.
Like I see this many times. You just go to the great niche, great timing, and you're lucky, and you get money, and you think is the quality. The quality there's a lot of content and it's like prank, the stupid things. Like
Yes.
the cats. It's like, oh, I'm the content creator. What do you do? I just cut the cats, collect the video and then post and I get millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Wow, but what's your, where are you there? What's your, it's really love it. I said, no, it's money. And they
burn out in a
and they
couple
burn
of
out
years.
because exactly, so the big point of what we're talking, and that's why I'm here, that's why you are here, and that's why I think you are there also.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the passion,
Yeah.
even if it's to be on the journey, something what I don't like, that's why, I didn't burn out because I found the way to pass all the setup things, the mistakes about the camera, fucked up and everything. I know I will go to the place when I can really enjoy. And this podcast is the fully things what I always love. I want to create the content, but at the same time, I don't want to do, a lot of other things,
Right.
because I passed this, for example, I love Final Cut, right?
Right.
But, sooner or later, maybe Final Cut will join the VR, right?
They kind of have, but they kind of have, but not really. I mean, the final
Should.
the final
Should.
Final Cut came out with their own. They bought the 3D tool set from a guy that I know pretty well, Tim Dashwood. He had created a set of tools, just like my other friend Chris Babotas had created, and Chris sold his tool set to Adobe. I happen to think his is much better. Now you just mentioned the Blackmagic Immersive. That's another whole ballgame because of, when you get into 8K and it's a very complex, it's a professional camera setup. It's certainly not anything close to these coup cams that we're doing, which do fantastic. I love this modded Cool Cam 3 Ultra. These are fantastic cameras. They're great beginner cameras. And they can even work as a great B-roll camera for something like the Canon. Now, I think that's where it kind of ends because if you step up to the 16K, it's not going to match up to it. It's just not there. But then again, how many guys do you know that are going to spend $100,000 to go ahead and buy this camera? And I'm actually somebody who, it's not my favorite thing to have to rent a camera because I don't know who else has screwed with that camera.
Possibility, and it's always something.
You rent it for a gig, and in the middle of the gig it breaks down, and you don't have a backup.
We just had a situation today, like we went to the gym, right? And then the tool, like whatever, the gym stuff, was fucked up, just stopped.
Yeah.
And they blame us about this one, right?
Wow.
You see this, it's not working well for like last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
But, because we actually use it, right? And it's stuck, and the company.
Well, yeah, they're always they want somebody, because they want to get somebody else to pay for the repair instead of them.
Exactly. Because they want to exchange basically the thing. That's why they need money, right? Because did it work, So yeah, that's the things about the, like even about the camera, like the Caudullo and everything, if you have yours, like you also, the setup, the taking care of this, we use the mod version, so there's like some handmade stuff would need to be made. So we need to be careful about this one. But yeah, that's the big part. And I think in general, like they want people to, have their own because it's the big cost.
Yeah.
But if you have a, big investor for this, it's the game changer.
Yes.
But, we cannot only depend on the big investor. Like I never was into getting investment because I believe I can do by myself and I can monetize and I don't need someone who just want to put the money and don't understand what I'm really doing,
Yeah.
I know it's the not good strategy. That's why what we're doing right now, we're looking for the investor for the next stage.
Yep.
We are already on the seed stage, which means like we want to scale up. We have already 20 creators who finish VR Academy.
Yep.
And then they want to go to the next level. So we create for them platform called VR Funky, which allow them to monetize content, to find other fans who love them, who love the content, and who want more what they do. And at the same time, they want to support them on the journey.
Yeah.
They want them to buy the Blackmagic,
Yeah, but I gotta say, I think we should. I gotta say, I think we should draw a line because going from the Canon and jumping into the Blackmagic, that's like jumping the Grand Canyon. Okay. The Blackmagic is a fantastic camera, but it's a big, ungainly beast. It's not a one-man operation when you're using the Blackmagic. The Canon can be a one-man operation, and it can get super professional results. The Blackmagic, that's corporation, that's production house. It's not something that the people that are going to be attracted to learning stuff at VR Academy, I think their ultimate goal is going to be something more like the Canon, and maybe thinking that later on,
it's just the way when people really can support them, right? You have a place like Patreon, right?
Yeah,
where they support other creators, right? Which is great, but it's nothing like on the VR. And I would love to have people who like actually support the creators. At the same time, have a contact with them, because I think it's the lack of the many platforms, like, even about the VR, when we actually can talk with the people, because you watch amazing content, like, hey man, like, where you been? What's the place, right? And not only get that from the views, which we also try to combine maybe the way how people can really attract, have the traction from YouTube,
Right.
YouTube is an amazing platform, but we all know that's not designed for the VR yet, Maybe they will never take care. I mean, maybe they will never take off this part, because I wish the VR the best, right? And I want more communication from them, because really we need, as a creators, we need to work together. We need to have discussion about where are we going, what's our goal, how we can design, not only be a part of some big, corporation,
right,
but be the designing part, and that be, have the word and have the, like really action about decision what will be made. Because on the other case, there will be everything from up, and we're like, oh, there's some platforms. Like, no, you can actually take control and have some potential to make the things like you want. And I think, we need more of this one.
Yeah, because
we need more of this one.
Yeah, because what we're offering is not just teaching, we're offering a support system.
Yeah.
We're offering somebody to say, okay, you want some advice about the story that you're wanting to shoot? Well, maybe you might want to think about this, or, wow, that's a really great idea. Go for it. The bottom line is, if you show up with a coup cam someplace, nobody's going to think that you're trying to do professional video. If you show up with a Blackmagic, they're going to say, where's your film?
10 people.
Because you ain't showing up by yourself with that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to show up with a crew and a truck and all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. I think
it's a different level of filmmaking.
I think
it's a different level of filmmaking.
Yes.
It's more. It goes into more traditional production house filmmaking.
We shoot with the car. Things what people think you are shoot with the Canon, right?
Yes.
And the same way about the last hour shooting, people think it is the Canon.
Yes.
With the Canal, people feel like, no way, man.
No way.
It's a Canon.
But
no.
see, that's the.
And it was, dark. It was outdoor, right?
Yes.
Was not much light. Was gimbal, right?
Yes.
On the hand, some of we have not much experience, right? And still people think it's the Canon, like 10 times, 15 times more expensive setup, right?
Yes. I've been able to take the Q3. I've been able to take the Q3 and get it to match the Canon.
Yeah.
To where I even have one video up where I shot from before sunset all the way through sunset with one camera on top of the other, and basically, I switched back and forth a few times, and most times people couldn't figure out which one was which.
Yeah.
They're looking at it in a headset. It's on DOVR. It's on my channel there, and it's a great way to show what can be done.
Production. So it's like, how many percent is the production? The light.
It depends.
Okay.
It really depends. Normally you want to
on this situation.
On this situation, I would say it was probably about 40% camera and 60% on post production in order to get, because it actually, each camera has a different color science, and Canon's color science is just one of the most beautiful. I think Sony, I used to be very big on Sony, but Sony tends to look a little green, whereas Canon does a much better overall, very rich colors, very deep. And so I really love it. It's replaced Sony as my favorite. But then, you've got to be able to handle both. Yeah, the bottom line is you can be really good with a camera, but if you don't have somebody good in the production studio afterwards working on the edit, they can ruin it. People who think they know, first of all, people that call color grading color correction, or they don't call it, they don't understand what the difference is. Color correction is bringing it to a standard. Then once you're at a standard, then you do color grading to change the look. Like one of our friends, when I sent him a 1080 copy, he looked at it and we pulled it off the 8K, and I sent it to him as HD 16:9 ratio, and he looked at it and he said, I can't believe you did this. How'd you do this? It looks so good. And it's all about knowing what to do in post. And, that's a whole different training system, So basically you want to start out keeping the camera as much to automatic as you can so that you don't have to worry about those changes. When I went out the other night and I shot the swing dance here in Bangkok, and it was at Luang train station, which is this 1850s train station that was, used to be the main Grand Central Station. Now it's a relic of the past. But they had the swing contest there, and I took the Q3. I kept it on automatic because I didn't want to mess with it. I was amazed at how good that came out. Yes, I still had to do a little bit of in post-production, in editing, to smooth it out and make it look a little bit better. But I didn't even run it through Topaz, which is really unusual. And I thought it looked fantastic. So it's a great starter camera. It's a great camera for people who don't really understand everything yet. But at the same time, you can switch it to being a manual camera so that you can make those adjustments yourself and that you can expand your knowledge as you move up. So it's all about learning. You continue to learn. I continue to learn. After 40 years in the business, I still learn every time I go out and do a new shoot. So that's...
There are more people like this who also, we enjoy their content, right?
Yes.
When we can see beautiful moments, beautiful, places.
I love looking at what my friends do and they send me stuff. What my friends do and they send me stuff and I go, wow, that's fantastic. I mean, it's great. People getting out there and really doing it. I have a guy from Australia as a friend of mine who just did this whole trip, and he's just doing this as a hobby. And he went all over the U.S., from one side of the U.S. to the other side of the U.S., and he did it over, I don't know how many weeks. And he's still processing content.
Yeah, that's
so much.
Just you teach him what the backup.
Oh yeah, I told him.
That's the thing. When I first moved to the travel. No, I moved basically to Asia. I got 800 gigabytes, and it was really 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I lost hard drive, 800 gigabytes, right?
Yeah.
800 gigabytes, right?
Yeah.
60, 70 videos.
That's why I preach this constantly. Over and over again. The most expensive thing that you own is not your camera. It's not your PC. It's your footage. And it's irreplaceable in some circumstances. You shoot something and the person, God forbid, dies. That's the last thing you have of them. And what if that hard drive fails? Because all hard drives eventually will fail. They're temporary storage. Everybody thinks hard drive is permanent. It's not. Every 3 to 5 years, you should be replacing your hard drive depending upon how good a hard drive you get. Okay? And otherwise, you're going to lose content. Yeah, we had a slight problem last time.
Yes, that's what we fixed, and tips like this, they're really powerful because you never know, and it's we wish everyone to not experience things like this, right?
Yeah.
To lose the footage, right? Yeah. But the same it's the insurance, Insurance, it's not important until it's important,
yes.
Right? Sometimes you don't need to have insurance
for
10 years.
That's the funny thing in some that's the funny thing in some ways. This is even better than insurance. Because insurance, let's face it, with insurance, you're betting against yourself.
Yeah.
You're betting that you're going to get sick.
That's why I don't have.
Right.
Because, I'm more focused on my health, right?
There you go.
So it's okay, I have insurance. I can
But
take
if you slip and break your leg tomorrow, you're screwed because you don't have insurance. Yeah. But having two hard drives, having two hard drives and having a backup and a main it's relatively cheap insurance.
Yeah.
And you're not betting against yourself. You're betting against the odds that a mechanical device, because that's what a hard drive is going to fail. And let's face it, what a lot of people don't understand also is that these SSDs, they have a limited write time. They can only write to that hard drive so many times before it wears out. The memory will wear out. The hard drive will fail. So it's like driving your car and, not having a spare tire.
Landing,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's like even more precious than that. They lose the footage of their kid's first step.
It's more important than landing.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like, back it up. Have 2 hard drives. Yeah, you're spending a little bit more money, but you know what? The chance of losing it makes it so much well worth it. It's an investment. It's just like investing in your camera and getting.
For people to join the VR Academy.
The 5 reasons.
Academy.
The 5 reasons. Learn, and let's count. And learn. It's all about learning new skills. It's about making better productions. It's about making better stories. I'm a storyteller. A lot of times that's what I put on my, when people ask, what do I do? I'm an immersive storyteller.
Yeah.
Everything I do is a story. It's presented as a story. And we all tell stories. When we get together at a club or at the gym or at the grocery store or at a nightclub, we see each other, we say, hey, how you doing? You won't believe what happened to me yesterday. And you go on and tell your friend from the beginning to the end what happened to you yesterday. That to you was the most amazing thing. He may think it's the boringest thing in the world, but you're telling a story. And he's looking to tell you his story at the same time. We are storytellers. We drew our stories on cave walls thousands of years ago, and they have lasted. But they look at it now and they're like kind of have to interpret what it is. We have a chance to create a story that tells the full story, not just one image, but a whole ton of images.
Beside the learning, I think the community, which can everyone talking about their own story, own experience, own fail, I think the way of learning is much faster.
Yes.
Because, sometimes you have the same camera, same things, and sometimes, they're malfunction. How is it? Malfunction. Right? Yeah. It can be very rare.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anybody who have the same, it's very hard to understand. Remember our first problem, because the footage was the cut, and was, even if you edit, there was no ending process of the finish, the footage.
Right.
So if you don't understand the whole picture and the whole story, you don't know what's the problem.
Yeah.
And you can always understand when you have the problem before.
Yeah.
That's why I think the community is important because, you can find many people who do it similar things and they, connect each other, understand better, because, we also connect with the people, right? On the VR, I already meet many friends and then, we do it the same things, and then we are connected and we become basically business partners. So I think the community is after 4 learnings, the community is the big part, and like I said, everyone is the part of the community. It means everyone's a teacher.
Yes.
It means everyone's a teacher.
Yes.
You learn the most when you teach.
Yep.
Right? That's I don't teach you. But basically learn more than you.
Yeah.
Because everything what I experience, my story, and I tell others.
Yes.
Like meeting you first time when I just expressed myself to you, and I was like, what? It's going to the next level because I realized there's people from my ground. They understand me, know? And if you have a VR academy, if you talk if you talk someone about a VR who never have headset, who never express anything, it sounds ridiculous.
Yes.
And you 3D, I know what you mean. It's 3D, right?
And then you put a headset on.
Yeah, it's 3D, right?
And then you put a headset on them and they have what I call the oh shit experience. They put the headset on and they're looking at it and they go, oh shit, I didn't know it was like this.
I have a meeting with a potential investor from Poland. Hi, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Yesterday, like, after, you show me the presentation, I bought the MetaQuest 3,
Yeah.
and he said, well, what I can watch there, like show me the content there. It's like, hey, I would send you the video,
links,
people who
Yes.
I work already create the content so we can watch there on DOVR and other platform.
Yep.
It's like, okay, what's other things? It's like, I have no idea. I just like watching what I like,
Yeah.
So if you tell me like, what other things I can see, like I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm watching the content for the people who I know, and I like them, right?
Yeah,
So I think is what is big lack part. If before many, VR was just advertised like entertainment.
Yeah.
Like the roller coaster.
Yeah.
They put them like boxing or the.
Yeah.
I always forgot the name. Blade Saber? No.
Yeah. Beat Saber.
Blade Saber? No.
Yeah. Beat Saber.
Beat Saber.
Yeah. Beat.
Beat.
Because you're doing it to the beat.
Yeah, Beat. Yeah.
It's a
Beat
sword.
Saber. Yeah. I always forgot. I played this game because I bought for my daughter. So I thought, okay, but how long you can play? Like, I'm not the guy who played GTA. Right?
Yeah.
But I know many people like, okay, but how long you can play? I know there's crazy people that beat Saber. I know there's people going level hard. But in general, it's not that like really deep things where you can do it on the VR, you know? And having like a VR creators who also can mix this content with anything else.
Yep.
A gray screen. We really talk about the content creation on the basic level, what we do.
Yes.
We can go on the absolutely any way. It can be connected with the different sounds, with the microphones like this, connect with the nature and everything.
Yes.
Connect with the, the speech behind, for example, the story and everything, right? It's going to go many different ways. ASMR is a big part of this one, right?
Yes.
Absolutely, they can use this one. So I won't see this from the people who I know. I like to watch someone who I observe on the 2D world, and I want to see on 3D. You talk about Joe Rogan last time. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see Joe Rogan on the VR.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome, right? And many people want to have the deeper connection to the VR.
Yeah.
So, I think, we talk about the VR school, and then you imagine this one, people watching podcasts, people who love the VR already, everyone watch. Tell me who will not watch from the DOVR group, from Caudullo group, right?
Yeah.
Will be not watching our podcast. It will be talking about the VR for the 5 hours, right?
Yep.
So
now Adam, I mentioned. Yep.
So
now Adam, I mentioned Adam before. Adam Contrast records for the longest vlog podcast.
How many hours?
And now I don't know. I forget all the details. I'll get you his information. You can check it out. But because we even did one together when I was visiting California, and he also at that time he just sold his DeLorean. He had a Back to the Future DeLorean. Which was and actually he modified it, and he also has the Guinness World Book of Records for the fastest DeLorean because he redid the engine and took it out and did a speed.
Fly away from the future.
And he basically, he has this podcast, and now he does it with his R5C. So he's doing 3D, but he's only using one camera.
Okay, I didn't see where
he's on DOVR. I'll have to send you his information.
I only look for the YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta look. I think he is. Sure.
I did his fine.
But I think he's on a platform on. I'll catch you his info.
Okay.
And we'll put it up.
But
on the
nobody
screen,
does the camera. Okay.
And we'll put it up on the screen.
Nobody does the camera. Okay. Anyway.
That nobody does. No, I haven't seen anybody do 2 cameras. Not like this.
But we want to inspire more. That's the things, we want to inspire more, and then you inspire more creators.
Yeah.
That's how you make the loop. And I mean the snowball. Yeah. That's what we need. We're on the perfect timing. With the setup, with the sound, with the Holy Land.
Yep.
Caudullo do a great job with our friend from US.
Silver, yes.
Yes. So that's
and he's even doing the DJI.
So that's
and he's even doing the DJI Osmo now, the 360.
Yeah. That's the
modified that as well.
That's the some stage it's never-ending story. Somehow sooner or later, for sure, someone go to the legit setup. Only focus on this one. Maybe Caudullo make, like really good cooperation, and we can create something. It's all about the amount of the creators.
Yes.
So what I want to say also, VR Academy create community, So, with the together voice and the big community, we can actually have something to say to the company who invest or sometimes they throw the money away.
Yeah.
We want them to throw the money, actually create something.
They can throw it away to us.
Actually create something.
They can throw it away to us and we'll
They can
take care
throw
of it.
away, exactly.
Please send your money to us. We'll take care of it
It's
for
the
you.
goal, right? Like we on the stage on our business, we definitely need more, support
Yes.
to keep going. We want to invite other creators.
We want to invite Hollyland.
other creators.
We want to invite Hollyland to sponsor our.
Creators, so they can now or other company can create a legit, affordable setup. When you don't need to use the glue, 3D printer. It's great. We're super lucky to have it, right?
Yes.
So and we don't want to take the job for other people who put these things together, but in other way, we want to have the professional setup with the affordable price.
Yes.
And if we can achieve this, to have more people who do it this one.
Yep.
Apple Vision Pro is a great setup. I understand that price have sense, but hope it's also allowed us to somehow be on the middle range when people can afford and have good quality stuff, right? Maybe something what they can buy extra, like the iPhone have Pro Max and everything.
Well, what they're doing now.
Pro Max and everything.
Well, what they're doing now, they're talking about two different things possibly, and right now it's still all supposition.
Yep.
They're talking about that Apple is going to put out a lower price headset with less features and different materials, and it's going to go for around $1,500. Then I heard that they're going to be incorporating the M5 chip into the newest one. And I'm like, well, that's certainly not going to come out for $1,500. I would say there's maybe a good likelihood that you're going to see an M5 version of the Apple Vision Pro, which may go a lot higher, maybe $5,000,
Yes.
Instead of $3,500, because that M5 chip is really amazing. But they also realize that they need to get down in the lower range. The new one from Vivo, that one is being pegged at about $1,350. They're saying that it's coming out at in China, but it's only coming. This is another thing, we're in an environment right now where there's a war going on globally over these whole tariff situation, and I don't even want to mention the Taco Man. But it's caused. What's happening is this headset's only going to come out in China because it's going to cost too much to send it to the U.S. And we already saw that with the Pico. Pico is not being sold in the U.S. because they're owned by ByteDance.
Yes.
And the whole TikTok situation. So there's a lot of political BS that's going on. That's interfering with the growth of.
And I think I'll be happy when the war, it will be about production of the VR cameras.
Yes.
It will be war about the production or putting more money into creators on the many different levels.
Right.
Because we have also people who are coders, who do it, design and the programs for application, for Apple Vision Pro, for Meta. So we need also, putting more open conversation and financial support to create things there.
Yes.
Because we talk about the Unreal Engine when they create the games on the VR, right? And they create the programs and the things what you talked before about the healthcare and everything. It's all designed by this, let's say, gaming part. Because the graphic and everything. It's massive business and also cost and everything, right?
Yep.
So we need to have more people, like the companies who understand, like, hey, you create amazing things for the people to watch, but they need to have a content there,
Yeah.
And every time when you support this users, you cannot forget, you cannot make Apple Vision Pro and have put 27 titles, because you can, if it's good, if this is good, you can watch in 1 week, right?
It's actually amazing.
You can watch in 1 week, right?
It's actually amazing to me that a headset that has sold less than 1 million units is influencing the marketplace. So it's because people realize that Apple does these things and they're in it for the long haul.
Good PR is the same like iPhone, like people go and they create the market.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, there's no voice from creators.
Right.
Because if we talk about platform like DOVR, we need to have a DOVR as a community.
Yes.
And they need to work together with the Rival, with the VUZ, with the Amplium, right? With the with the people we know, and who else is on the market? Like, there's few players who try and get in, but let's talk together, guys. So we have a community. When we speak to them, we have a similar language. We want to create the content. Maybe all of us, we can sit together because this company also work together. Like, I don't think like that you see like every setup, every car, every like, we think they have two totally different things, but basically it's not the same stuff, right? Metacomic, Apple Vision Pro, VivoCom, and everything. Vivo looks similar to Apple Vision Pro.
It looks it's a copycat version. That's for sure. It's a copycat version. That's for sure. Yeah. And the other interesting thing to think about with Vivo is that I think they made a mistake. They did not go in with the Android XR platform. They went with their own proprietary OS, which means they're isolated now.
Yeah.
This is the big thing that I have an issue with Apple, is that they are such an isolated platform. They don't play well with others. They don't want to play well with others. They want you to come and be.
I think because they didn't see the big input about the creators from the video.
Yeah.
They see mostly about the app.
Yeah.
So they think like, oh, it just copy the app. Yeah. But on the VR content, you actually need to have the separate, even resolution and the much more, different things.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot take, from video to what you design from Meta to put the Apple Vision Pro. It's totally different coding. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you just
totally different coding. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you just the format is completely different.
Yeah, I mean, it can work, and later with them, but it's still challenge. That's why if you produce video for the Apple Vision Pro, you need to have a really top,
playing computer.
Yes.
And, there's a guy in computer, and there's a guy. His name is Dean Zwickel, and he actually coded a program for Windows that will convert 3D VR 180 into the spatial video format. And how spatial video works is, just so that people understand it, with normal, you have normal 3D VR 180, you have two side-by-side images. One is the right eye, one is the right eye, one is the left eye. But with spatial video, what it does is it records the full left eye, and it only records the difference in the right eye. And that way, when it puts it together, you're saving on bandwidth. So, like, for instance, if they were shooting this scene for the Apple Vision Pro, you would see movement from on the right side from my hands and my face and everything, but the chair and the curtain behind me isn't moving, so that doesn't need to repeat that information. And it's a way to go ahead and save bandwidth. And therefore, the trade-off is that you can pack in more quality into a lower bandwidth. And that's what they're taking as their advantage. And it's solid reasoning, and it does work. We've used it before back in the day with 3D, side-by-side, flat 3D. We had basically multi-view, which is the same, what's called, spatial video is called MV Multi-View HEVC.
Yeah.
Okay, which is the H.265 format. We used to have it with H.264, and it was called they called it MVI and MTS, and that was basically doing the exact same thing. It was a multi-view codec that was a way of encoding things. So they haven't come up with something new. They've just improved on what was already there, and they're making it work. But it's completely, you have one guy that finally created something that people, if I don't have an Apple computer, I don't have a Mac. So how am I going to create content for the Apple Vision Pro? Mm-hmm. Now I can, thanks to this guy writing this code, this program. And it's a very simple, basic program. So you do all your editing and everything in Premiere, and you maybe run it through Topaz and whatever else you want to do to it. And then you take that final product and then you convert it into this other format that can go on to Apple Vision Pro. So it's still kind of convoluted. I think there needs to be, and it'll never happen with Apple, because they are so much in the whole proprietary thing. They don't want to mix. But we'll see what happens.
There's an app, basically for the VR, called Soapbox. They make they get a great artists, rappers and the musicians and performers, and they create the content on the green screen, and also using, I think, 32 cameras, which they create the perfect 3D.
Okay.
Which they create the perfect 3D.
Okay, so they're doing
right?
volumetric.
Trying to, apply the, VR background
Right.
On the same time, right? So, I'm saying this one because, there's a lot of talking about the green screen, right?
Yeah.
And how it works on the VR, because it's actually the thing connect with the, AR, right?
Yeah.
When, person can walk on this room, you see them on the,
Right.
let's say artificial reality.
Right.
So you are fan of making content on the VR? I mean, on the...
I'm not a big fan of green.
On the...
I'm not a big fan of green screen. It's always been... It's specialized, and you have to have a big enough space to shoot it, because if the talent isn't far enough away from the green screen, then the lighting that you have on the background is going to bounce, and it's going to spill onto the image, and then you have to adjust that. Some people are great at it. I'm okay, but I hate it. So I'm not really into that too much.
So
now, I got lucky. I got to do a volumetric video at a private event that was done in California back in 2019, right at the same time that we were doing the Connect 2019 up in San Jose. Then down in LA, they were doing basically they took over this whole theme park, and we they had this all going. And Samsung did one of these volumetric, and you get onto this platform, and there's like 100 cameras all around you, and they're in columns.
That's what they do.
And the computing power that it took, and what they did is they said, okay, talk to yourself. We're going to make a miniature you, and you're going to be in your own hand. And, I had to do the Obi-Wan, you are our last hope, please save us. And it was so cool. They sent it to me on my phone afterwards, and it was like, wow, that's so cool. But it was such an intensive experience, and the amount of equipment that you needed. Now that's actually come down, and not as much equipment needed, but you still need all those cameras all around you.
So it's more.
So it's not for practical shooting.
Exactly,
studio applications.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So if they want to do something like this, they just design for this one, and they just design for this one, and
in there they don't even do green screen. They just have black curtains all around, and the base.
And they have
when you start doing at this level, where you have these multiple cameras, you mask out everything else. You cut out everything else. Green screen, you're just using a color that you can match to. You could match to black. You can match to purple. But most people don't wear green.
Yeah.
That's why green was originally chosen.
Oh, really?
Because it was an odd color. And actually, there is a green screen green color formula. It's not just any green. Okay. It has to be the right color green, because all the colors are made up of a blend of red, blue, and green.
Yes.
Okay? And so if you start tinting too much to one side, like maybe it's a little bit too blue-green, then it's not going to balance, because blue is one of the most popular colors for people to wear.
Good.
Okay? So that's why, if you're going to do a green screen, you can't have somebody show up with a green shirt on, because they'll look like they don't have a chest. There's particular things you have to do with green screen. And volumetric video is a completely different animal, because you're not one camera shooting against the screen. You're 100 cameras, and they're all pointed at you. And the background just doesn't mean anything. It's intelligently gotten rid of. So it's nothing like green screen at all. But then again, you can get a three-dimensional object that you can turn around, and it's fully you. Whereas with green screen, you're just masking off anything that's green, and then you can replace it with anything.
That was good part.
That's fun.
Did you like it? Did you enjoy?
He's over there playing.
Enjoy.
He's over there playing with his phone. That's what he's doing. It's just like, these guys, I don't even know what's going on. Are the cameras even recording? Wait, I forgot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you at school.
See you.
See you
at
school.
See you next time.
Ian.